Welcome to the Mom and podcast. We're your hosts, Suzanne Kearns
and Missy Stevens. We want to help you through everything that happens in the ellipses, from your professional life to your emotional health.
You're a mom and so much more. Let's figure out what comes next together.
Welcome to the Mom and podcast. I'm Missy Stevens, mom and writer, foster care advocate, and today vacation prepper.
I'm so jealous. And I'm Suzanne Kearns, a mom and writer, LGBTQ and sex ed advocate. And today I am a sugar crasher from way too many Valentine's cookies, cupcakes, candies. There were some cinnamon rolls. So yeah, I need this healthy discussion we're going to have.
It's the perfect day for it. And yes. I'm so excited. We have Ashley Brandt and Robin Winkles with us today. So I've known Robin for over a decade. She took our very first family portraits when my youngest was, I don't know if you can see them there, but
babies
there. I'll put it in the show notes. Little babies. Robin took that picture. It's one of my favorites ever. She's one of the only people at that age that could get Pete to cooperate and smile. I don't know if you remember Robin, but he would just for every picture, but she could get him to smile. So
work on my teenagers.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The teenagers are a lot of fun too. So I've known Robin for a really long time, and she started posting a little over a year ago about this group and program that she loved that is Strong by Ashby, and sucked me in. And that's how I got to know this program. So I'm going to start with Ashley's bio, and then I think Suzanne is going to jump in with Robin's. But Ashley is a mom and founder of Strong by Ashby, a certified personal trainer and a certified nutrition coach. She started her program after years of trying to balance living life while maintaining her health. She's known for her love of margaritas and chicken wings, being honest about her struggles, and throwing out the occasional four-letter word during workouts, which I love. I love that. Ashley believes that everyone, no matter their age, weight, or past experience with exercise and nutrition, can create a healthy lifestyle. The Strong program focuses on mental health and confidence, better preparing participants to tackle the physical challenge of getting and staying healthy. Ashley lives with her husband and two children in the rural farm country about an hour east of Kansas City, Missouri.
All right. And Robin is a mom and certified personal trainer, nutrition coach, and photographer. She joined Strong by Ashby as a member in December 2020 and immediately fell in love with everything about Ashley's approach to fitness and nutrition. She now leads cardio and core workouts for Strong by Ashby members. Robin is raising two amazing young women and a small home zoo that includes an 8-pound Yorkie and 18-pound Siamese. Oh my goodness. I've had one of those kitties before, and a 7-pound foster fail cat with her own Instagram page. We will have to put that in the show notes, and a sweet and sassy bearded dragon. When not in the cardio room, Robin follows people around with her camera as a professional photographer, specializing in graduating seniors, families, and a special girl empowerment project for tweens and teen girls. Welcome. I want to hear more about that too.
Yeah.
Well, now, since we have an hour and we're not used to balancing the two guests, so we're going to make sure we don't make it a 2-hour episode, but we'll still do want to hear about a little bit about your 101s, your career paths, specifically if there's any particular twists or turns or pivots that led you to where you are now. And so how should we make sure that we are, let's see, I'm going to go left to right where we are. I'm going to start with Robin.
All right. So I was injured. I had some sciatic nerve injury just over a year ago. It kind of sidelined me from everything that I was doing. And so I was looking for some way to stay in shape. I had worked really hard for years with another boot camp type program. And so I didn't want to lose all the strength that I had built, but I needed a way to be able to modify what I was doing because I was very injured. And a friend of mine who I had traveled to Uganda with was in Ashley's program and was sharing some of her posts on Facebook. And this friend of mine, she was 69 at the time. And so I thought, okay, if she's in this group and managing it, then even though I'm injured, I should be able to do the program. And it was my initial thought that I would start I would heal and I would go back to what I had been doing. But before my first month was even over, I fell in love with everything that Ashley was doing as far as the workouts, the mental health work, the community of the program was fantastic. Something I didn't even realize that I needed because I'm pretty self motivated. And so I didn't know that these strangers liking my post workout selfies would mean something to me, but it
Mhm.
absolutely did. And so before that first month was over, I was out for a run because I'm a runner. And so I was running before I did my resistance training work that day. And I was thinking, Ashley does strength training, but I'm a cardio girl. So there's something that I could offer to the group as far as cardio goes. So I sent Ashley an email very early January. I'm like, I hate myself on video. I hate myself in pictures, but I love what you're doing. I'm a cardio girl and I feel like I could bring some value to the group. And so I asked her for a job in early January, having just been a member for a month. And she emailed right back and she's like, there's stuff I've got to figure out, but this sounds like it could work. And she gave me a job. And it has been incredibly life changing for me because I've seen countless friends and family change their lives in the group since I joined. And I've just grown so much as a person, not only mental health, physical health, everything. Like it's just been life changing for me. And so I'm super thankful that she took a chance on me when she knew nothing about me. I mean, I live in Texas, she's in Missouri. We'd never met. She'd only seen my selfies for a month. So she really took a chance on someone she didn't know. But I feel like we balance each other out in perfect ways. We're alike in the ways we need to be alike. We're different in the ways we need to be different. And it's just a partnership that I feel has worked incredibly well for our group.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, and I think that leads right into then Ashley. Tell
Yeah.
us a little bit about your journey to where you are today.
Mine is a pretty long story, so I'm going to try to condense it as much as I can without missing the twists and turns. Essentially, I have had an interest in the health and fitness field for pretty much as long as I can remember, but I would always just kind of talk myself out of it. So shortly after high school, I thought, no, I need to go to college. That's what everyone was telling us. We need to go to college. So I went to college. And during my time in college, I didn't want to take a chemistry 2 class because it was intimidating for me. Science was not my jam. So I just kind of decided I wasn't going to do dietetics, which is what I had originally planned on doing. Then once I was done with college, I thought, well, I need to use this degree. I never did. I ended up getting a graphic art technology management degree, never used it a day in my life.
Yep.
I worked in taxes, I worked in agriculture, I worked for the judicial system, and then I worked in the education system. And I learned something in each of those places that I do believe has led me on this journey and has brought me to the point that I'm at now. It'd be hard to make those connections just hearing, those different types of jobs, but really I did learn something at each job that led me to the decision of, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to stop putting it off. I'm going to stop making excuses about why I can't do it. So my first initial jump into the health and fitness industry was with Beachbody. I joined Beachbody and quickly just found out it wasn't the right fit for me. It wasn't the right fit. So I was speaking with my husband and I was like, hey, I'm thinking about getting a
Certification.
certification. That's what I'm looking for. Certification. Thank you, for personal training. To which he said, do you want to do this for fun or you want to make it a career? And every part of me wanted to tell him it was for fun because that would take a lot of pressure off of me. But I knew I really, really would like to see it go further than that. So I told him for a career. He said, okay, yeah, let's do it. And I got my certification and then I started Ashby Health and Fitness in 2019. That's what it originally was. And then I got my nutrition certification. And I always had this pull to make it different. I wanted a different atmosphere. I wanted a different feeling because just to be clear, during this entire time when I had this interest in the health and fitness field, I was not necessarily a healthy person. My eating habits were very restrictive. My working out was because I didn't like myself. I didn't like the way I looked. I didn't like my body. And so starting this business, I decided, you know what? Do it different. Do it different than the other things you've seen. So we started shifting gears and we started shifting more towards the mental health and the community. And then Robin jumped on board and she has been a fabulous addition. Like she said, we just really kind of balance each other out. God bless her and her organizational skills, because that is where I am lacking and she is fantastic at. But we do just have different strengths and they really play off of each other. But yeah, that's pretty much how we got to this point. Recently rebranding as Strong by Ashby and deciding to take it the direction of really focusing on health and strength and everything that includes, not just physically, but also mentally, emotionally, just all around health for every single person, whoever wants it, regardless of age or weight or ability or wherever you're at in life. We are all inclusive and we just try to make it a really good experience for everyone who joins us.
And I know
Yeah.
Missy is really familiar with the actual
Yes.
system program. So can you give us a little brief overview? So if I am just someone listening to this podcast and like, okay, so what do I do? Where do I go? Do I look at my computer? Do I download something? Like what does that look like for the actual end user?
Yeah, our entire program is online. So obviously with Robin being in Texas and me being in Missouri, we'd have to do something that was online. So essentially what we do is the night before we provide daily workouts, 27 minutes for each of our workouts. Robin also does 15-minute options for those who maybe just aren't quite ready for the 27 minutes of cardio yet, or they're wanting to try it out. But
Robin's 27 minutes are killer.
They are. I post them the night before, and then you have at any point during the next day to complete those workouts. Or if it doesn't work for your schedule, you can switch things around. But we provide Monday through Friday workouts. And then Robin also provides a Saturday morning live workout, which we are in love with. They are so much fun. And then I also have added some glute booty type training stuff because strong glutes are just really an essential part of having a strong, healthy body. So we've kind of dug into that. And along with that, we tackle nutrition, we work on self-confidence. And a lot of that is done with daily posts. We post something at like about 5 o'clock in the morning. And it's just kind of a discussion topic that we can talk about and bounce ideas off of, and really just have this community of a really safe space to, talk about things that are hard for us and talk about things that are a struggle for us in the health and fitness world, because it does seem to cater to very specific people. And we have really tried to open up that conversation about, well, how do we support each other, not necessarily being the typical person that it's made for or geared towards. So
so is that community like a Facebook group, or is that a
yes. Yeah,
Okay.
we have a Facebook group, and then we just created a new platform where all of the content is now distributed through an online platform that anybody can get a membership to, they sign into. It's very easy to navigate now. As much as I loved having Facebook as a free resource, it became kind of hard to navigate once we got a certain number of people in there and everybody's posting. But we did still keep the Facebook group for that community and for that support.
And
Yeah.
so as you can tell, I'm kind of the nitty gritty, like facts and details.
Suzanne's our nuts and bolts girl.
I want to know what I need to do. No, okay. So, and then typically for people who are doing the workouts, do they just need some hand weights? Like, is there a list of equipment, or how do people get prepped for that?
Yeah, we have the list of equipment on our website. It also comes in the email whenever you go to our website. It's like, hey, do you want to know more about our program? You can enter in your name and your email address. We shoot you an email that says exactly what you need. But yeah, essentially what we require for the beginning is a set of dumbbells and resistance loops. And then I also put a link to resistance loop. So if you're like, I don't even know where to start to look for that, click the link, it'll take you right to Amazon so you can see exactly what you need.
Perfect.
Yep.
Yeah. And then like for me, it's my equipment has grown as my strength has grown. So I started the program with, I don't know, some teeny tiny dumbbells up to maybe tens. I don't even know if I had tens when I started. And now I have like a 35 in there, like I am slowly buying them and adding them as I need them. And there are times when I actually use more than that, but I just haven't budgeted to buy it. So I can modify
I need to
make it
do
happen.
something about my strength training because I'm doing a half marathon on Sunday with my daughter, and we did, the whole 13-week training, whatever. And whenever there's the days in between that are like cross train, strength train, I'm like, it's okay. I'll just skip that day.
Do they
So-
mean couch train?
I
going to
know.
couch
Well, yeah, I'm across the room. I don't know.
I
But
can
yeah,
tell
so-
you from personal experience that when I finally added strength training to my schedule, I shaved 11 minutes off my half marathon time.
Oh
so,
my gosh.
and that was, I kept running, but I just added that strength training in. So you don't
Yes.
necessarily think that it's going to make that big of an impact, but it does.
No, I trained a handful of years ago, and I've done several half marathons. And the one that I actually did do all the things you're supposed to do, I was like, oh yeah, like I'm not
There's
in
so much
pain when
better.
I cross the line. I
Right.
like it actually feels good. So yes, I know the benefits of not cheating, but
hard.
I know.
We've talked about it a little bit. I really want to talk a bit about self-doubt though. You each touched on some things when you told your stories, moments of, can I do this? Should I do this? I don't know if this is right for me. And I think our podcast really caters to moms in particular, trying to just figure out who they are. We talk a lot about values. We talk a lot about knowing yourself so that you know who you're taking out into the world. Can you talk a bit about your experience with doubt? What happened to you? What helped you overcome that if you're still working on it, and how you help your members kind of get over that I can't do it moment?
I would love to say the self-doubt goes away, but there's obviously still times where it kind of pokes its head up and I'm like, oh, well, there it is. There it is again. But really, right at the beginning, I had already had my children. So obviously that changes a person. And I had a pretty major fear of what people would think of me starting a business that was health and fitness related in my 30s after already having my children in a field that is a lot of younger trainers and things like that who haven't had children yet. They jumped right into it. They knew exactly what they wanted to do, either in college or right after college. So I had this doubt that I was going to be able to provide what people needed to be able to reach their health and fitness goals, just because I wasn't sure if anybody would give me the time of day or respect me, because I didn't feel like I fit the normal criteria that kind of came with being a personal trainer. And what I found is the more honest that I was about my self-doubt, and the more I talked about being unsure, and the more I talked about, not feeling like I always fit in, the more people gravitated towards it. The more people I found started following me and said, oh my gosh, like I feel this same way. But it has been one of the most amazing things that has ever happened, because I have met so many different people from so many walks of life. And we have from college age all the way to people in their 70s. And we have this very just wide range of people that we serve, because I feel like everybody can relate to feeling that doubt, and everyone can relate to not always feel like you fit in certain crowds. So when I first got started, I remember driving to work and I would say to myself over and over again, because I still had a full-time job at this point. I still worked as a administrative assistant at a middle school. When I got my certification and I started the business, I couldn't just up and quit my job. So I did both. And I remember driving to work and I would just say to myself over and over again, like, I am a personal trainer. I am a personal trainer. I am a personal trainer. It was almost an affirmation type thing. And I remember the first time I told somebody I was a personal trainer and not, a secretary at a school. I was at the airport and someone asked what I did. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is it. Like, I can tell them
I've
I'm
been
a
waiting
personal
for this
trainer
moment.
and they're not going to judge me. They don't know me. They don't know
Yes.
my past. They don't know who I am. And I remember telling them I was a personal trainer and it was the most liberating thing in the world. And really, after that point, it just became much easier. I don't know what it was about verbalizing that helped me get over that doubt. I have a lot of interest in psychology, and I know the brain does some crazy things whenever, you tell yourself something over and over again. Eventually, your brain starts to believe it. And I
Yes.
think saying those affirmations every single day on the way to work, it finally gave me the courage to be able to say it out loud. And ever since then, it's just kind of snowballed from there. So
I love that.
I do too. What about you, Robin? Any self-doubt
Yeah,
moments?
I'll touch on a little bit of my own self-doubt stuff, but then also about how it works in our group and how we're helping people tackle that because it really is effective. Of course, yes, I have self-doubt. That doesn't go away, but I have to be up in front of hundreds of people. And so it's that go through the emotions and the emotions will follow. So our people expect us to be confident. They don't expect us to be perfect. They don't want us to be perfect, but they do want to believe that we know what we're doing. And so
Yeah.
when I get up there on video, when I get up there on stage, when we've had our couple of live workouts, I have to be confident. I don't have a choice because I want those people to believe in me enough to believe in themselves, to believe that if they do what I'm asking them to do, they will get where they want to be.
Mhm.
And so, yes, I have self doubt all the time, but I am able to, especially when I'm on camera or in front of these people, be confident because I know that's what they need from me. And they build us up. And that's what is super great about the group. We have mental health prompts throughout the week, and the group is super open and vulnerable about sharing their struggles. And when somebody comes and says, I've had a rough day, then there's 20 people who respond and say, here's where I am, here's how I got through that or whatever. So it is that openness of the group to show that we all have struggles and whether they're the same or not, we're getting through them. And so that is one of the biggest benefits of the group for me is watching the other people lift each other up. I mean, I've
Mhm.
had friends send me a message and say, I don't know who this person is, but she loves my post every day and it just brings me joy. And I'm like, I
Uh-huh.
know
Yeah.
it's just the most positive, encouraging community. And that helps people's confidence. It helps their self doubt. And it helps because it allows them a place to be vulnerable and open and themselves. Like we talk about being real, and that's what we are. We're not perfect. We don't strive for perfection. We don't want people to be perfect. And so it's okay to have that self doubt. We just have to figure out ways to tackle it for whatever it is we need to tackle it for that day.
Mhm.
I find it really freeing as a member and as someone who has done many different exercise, fitness related things in my life. I mean, you name it, I've probably tried it. Some have lasted longer than others. I've always been an unathletic athlete, have always done stuff, but I find it so uplifting when I'm doing one of your workouts and one of you says, that didn't go how I wanted it to go. Or Ashley on the regular says, I'd like you to know that this is my third time recording this workout today. Or start it over. Or something happened, things fell down, things just didn't go the way they were supposed to go.
Yes.
And it's really comforting that like, yeah, we're just all people. We're just all people trying to get stronger, trying to incorporate health into our lives. And none of us has to have it all together all the time.
Yes. Oh, I love
I
that.
do think it does give people permission to give themselves grace when things don't go as planned.
Mhm.
If you're watching your trainers do it and you're watching your trainers go, oh no, like that's not how I planned for this to go. It also gives you permission for yourself to be like, oh, well, if things don't go perfectly for my trainer, like, why would they also go perfectly for me? Like, and you give yourself just a little bit more grace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And things rarely go perfectly in life, which
Mhm.
kind of leads into my next question, which is, we're very busy parents. And so, your typical day is not usually typical by any means. And we talk a lot about kind of this, I don't know if it's an intersection or a collision of habits and busyness, and like how to
Mhm.
stick with some habits, even though there's a lot of uncertainty about how a day may play out. And so, would love to hear your professional advice about creating a healthy lifestyle that's part of a habit and actually part of your life than just this thing that you have to check off a to-do list every day.
Yeah, I mean, kind of going back to the grace thing, which is something we really promote in our group, especially when you are a mom and you are busy, allowing yourself that grace and that flexibility to be able to work things in when you can, I think really helps. But I feel like for our program, what we typically try to do is we try to say, okay, here is what is required, right? Here is this 27-minute workout. Here is some nutrition guidance. This is what's required, right? And so from there, we have lots of different things in our group, but you can always build off and add more whenever it feels right or whenever you feel like you could handle that.
Mm.
But we try to start everyone off with very manageable things that they can do to try to create this lifestyle that usually just starts with a 27-minute workout. And hey, we got to pay attention to our nutrition. We have to start making these slight adjustments. We don't ask anybody to remove anything from their diet. We ask them to make slight adjustments to portion sizes and to be mindful about their protein. And also, we encourage them to keep the foods that they like in their diet and just making some small tweaks that really makes it less overwhelming than going, okay, I'm going to start running a mile every day and I'm going to work out for 2 hours at the gym and I'm going to drink a gallon of water and I'm going to do this specific kind of diet, which we've all done. I've done it so many times, so many times.
Yeah. For
And
3 days. I do it for 3 days. And I'm like,
exactly.
screw that.
Yes, exactly. Like you're like, man, I can't keep up with this shit for very long. So it's just one of those things that whenever you break it down into smaller chunks and you master those smaller pieces, you can always add as you go throughout your journey. And then it doesn't feel like such a daunting task to try to do 15 things in a day when you're like, okay, I got 27 minutes. Or if you even need to, breaking those down. I have lots of moms in the group that said, well, I got through 15 minutes and I'll do the other part tonight. Like, cool. Like, we're going to applaud you for that because 15 minutes is better than saying, oh, well, I'm just not going to do it because this is hard and I can't, it's not going to happen right now. Well, you got in 15 minutes and that's something.
Yeah. And that's a lot because a 15-minute break is so easy to fill with just scrolling or who knows, checking your email or doing whatever. And for people who maybe that 27 minutes even, I love the 27 minutes because it's not quite a half hour.
I wanted to ask, I've never asked, was the 27-minute intentional or is that just you wanted to fit that many things in and that's how long it took? Like, how did you come to that?
I knew how many moves I wanted to do. I knew how many sets I wanted to do of each move. And then I also knew I wanted a cool down and a warm up. And I knew I wanted it less than 30 minutes. So I just kind of played with the timing of it for a while. And I mean, I remember being at my full-time job and being at my desk and writing out like, okay, I can warm up for a minute and a half. And then if I do this many moves, I can do them this many times. And it's just kind of where it landed. And I felt confident in it, that it aligned with the amount of work that people needed to do to see results. And so that's just how it came about.
Yeah.
It's great. It
Thanks.
plays with your head where you're like, well, it's not even half an
Yeah.
hour.
It's like $19.99. It's not $20. It's
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, we're close on time and I don't want to rush us, but I want to talk about values. We've touched on it a little bit, but we really want our listeners to be able to build a life that reflects their values.
Mhm.
And so I'm curious if you can talk a little bit about your own values and how you encourage that idea of fitness in someone who thinks they don't value it. And maybe they don't value it because they have past fitness related trauma, or maybe they don't value it because someone said mean things about their body a long time ago, whatever the reasons may be. Do you have any experience kind of wrapping them up and saying, here's where we're going to go and here's what I value that can help you with this?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I would say probably a good majority of our members, when they come to us, I think sometimes I think they might be looking for something different than what we offer, but then when they get in there, they see it, right? Because we offer, I would consider it a pretty body positive atmosphere, very supportive. And a lot of people, when they come to us, do have this negative mindset when it comes to nutrition and when it comes to exercise. And a lot of times when people come to us, they're still looking for that secret. They're looking for whatever that thing is that they're missing as to why they haven't had success yet. And usually they're looking for a specific diet or something like that. Well, when they come in, and Robin and I really, from the very get go, start to drill home this idea of, you're worthy right now. With the body that you have, you're worthy right now. What we are asking you to do is to love yourself enough to want to take care of yourself. Working out because we love ourselves, not because we hate ourselves. We're eating a certain way because we want to feel good, not because we want to lose 30 pounds as fast as we can. That has never been the direction we wanted to go. And we try to, I mean, from the minute you walk in there, if you look through the post, you're going to see very quickly the way we speak to ourselves matters. The way we talk about ourselves matters. I have a discussion at the beginning of every single month where I talk about the way we talk about ourselves, because we don't call ourselves names and we don't make fun of ourselves, because that sends a message back up to our brain saying, hey, like, this isn't really who you are. This is just something you're trying to do. But when we start thinking about ourselves in a different way, and we start thinking about ourselves with the idea of like, oh my gosh, I'm doing this because I love myself, it has a different impact. And yeah, Robin and I, that's something we work very, very hard on. It's something that's really hard to break, especially when this is a pattern from possibly childhood all the way up to women in their 70s, trying to still learn to love their bodies and learn to love who they are as a person. And that's our goal, and it's going to keep being our goal. Yes, health and fitness is always going to be an aspect of our group, but our goal is a better self-image just all around.
Yeah. And I thought about that with Robin with your injury. I mean, as far as your abilities to do certain things or not being able to do certain things, I'm sure that that probably was in conflict with your identity or how you perceived yourselves or the things that you valued. So I think it's wonderful that you found a place where you could still do things that were aligned with your values, but with what your abilities were. And there are so many points in our lives, whether it's through illness or any type of things that mean that we don't have maybe the physical abilities, or we need to do things at a different pace that we had done before. We're recovering from something. So can you speak a little bit to that?
Yeah, and that's something I talk about in the cardio room often, especially, there are some pretty high intensity moves we do on occasion. And I will say, if this is a move that you don't feel that you need to be able to do, don't do it. We're not here to be in competition with anyone. We are here to be healthy and strong for our lives. So if you don't want to ever be able to do a good burpee, don't do a burpee. Like in that minute that we're doing burpees, find something else to do because I don't care. My goal is to make you the healthy you can be. And I could care less if you can do burpees. I don't do them often. I hate them. Um, when I was injured, they were really, really painful. So it's something that if I don't ever do them well, I don't care. And that's what we talk to our members about too. It is about being the strongest you that you can be today, because today looks different than tomorrow. Today looks different than yesterday.
Mhm.
So there's so much. That's why the format of the program is so great. We only do each move 3 times for a minute each. So 3 full minutes of each move. So if you can't do it, that's 3 minutes that you can find something else to do
Mhm.
to move your body without losing strength. I mean, I was seriously injured and getting better shoulder muscles than I'd ever gotten in my life. Like
Hmm.
it didn't make sense. But when you are given the freedom to make the modifications you need to make to support where you are right now today, I mean, it's empowering, it's effective. And I feel like our members, they are able to give themselves that permission to not go all out on the days that they can't,
Yeah.
in the situations that they can't. So yeah, it is super, super great to know that our strength comes from what we can do that day. And that day can look very different than tomorrow and next week. And I mean, we know many of our members have gone through COVID in the last couple of months. And so
Yeah.
it's been a very important, safe place to be, to know that taking a week off doesn't mean you've ruined everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that we're all still here when you get back. It's just a safe place to land when you've had to take that time off, or
Yeah.
to be when you are not really willing to take the time off. We have some of those people too. It's just a safe place for all levels at all times.
And it's great that the format allows you to do that too, where
Yeah.
you don't feel like there's a room full of people watching you. If you decided, oh, I'm going to do these squats instead of the burpees for the next 3
Right.
minutes. And, if you're in a room full of people who are all doing burpees, you're just like, oh, do I look weird?
I wanna do
but,
it. Yeah.
but no, I like the freedom of it. And then the lack of visibility, if you need to make those adjustments.
Well, and you're both great about saying and explaining on a regular basis that we can't all do the same things on the same days. Like what I could do this week, I for some reason might not be able to do next week. And I am no longer beating myself up when my weight doesn't consistently, the weights I'm lifting, not my physical weight, but when the weights I'm lifting don't consistently go up. And if there's a week they have to go down, there was a time that I would have been so disappointed and so discouraged, and I might have quit, even if it was only a temporary quit. Uh, and I don't anymore. I just think, well, I can't do this. I mean, yesterday I had to put down my weights and go get something so much lighter, but it was either that or not work the right muscle group. I was going to hurt myself because I just couldn't do it yesterday for some reason.
Yep.
But I didn't feel bad about it. I laughed about it and went and got another weight and thought, well, this is what I'm doing today. What felt to me ridiculously light, but that's what I needed.
Oh, yeah. I noticed
Yeah,
that with my running too. There's just some days where you're like, I
Just
don't care
can't.
that I ran 8 miles the other day. Today, two's gonna hurt. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, Tess, there's just really no such thing as failure unless you just quit. That's
Don't.
that's the only way you can, as long as you are trying and you are doing your best, not someone else's best, your best, there is no way to fail at this. You can't. As long as you show up and you do your best, you're going to get what you came for.
I mean, every mom needs that. We feel like we
I
fail all the
know.
time, right? Like we're always messing stuff up. I tell my children all the time that they will have a nice long list of things to take to the therapist in their later years and say, look at what my mom did to me. But
Yeah.
we can do this and have success. And
Yes.
it's so good for our heads, I think.
And we want all of our listeners to be able to learn more about it and find you. And you've got your new platform and your group. And so, what is the best way for people to find you? We'll make sure we have it in the show notes for anybody who wants to type it in manually, though. Where would they find you?
Yeah, our website is ashbyfit.com. That's where I would say a good majority of our information is. You can, like I said, when you first come to the website, it gives you an option to put in your email and receive even more information about the program in an email. And then we are also on Facebook and Instagram at Strong by Ashby. And then Robin and I's individual Instagrams are in the bio of our business Instagram. So if you want to find us individually, maybe you vibe with one of us or both of us, probably, you can find our profiles there in the bio of our business.
We forgot to talk about the 5K. Can y'all tell us about the 5K and how people can participate?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and let Robin take over that. That's kind of her brainchild. It's her jam. She's the cardio queen. I told her I will do anything for this 5K except run. No, I'm kidding.
A lot like that.
I will run because I am asking other people to do that, and I don't ever ask anybody to do anything that I am not willing to do myself. But it is Robin's baby in her jam, so I will let her tell you all about it.
Great.
Yeah, just something we're super excited about as far as an external motivator for our people. So the focus of this race is not how fast you can do it. Even the distance is kind of irrelevant. Obviously, we're going to try and get 5K, but not everyone has a watch that tracks distance. We don't care. It's about setting your mind to accomplishing something and then doing it. And so it's an external motivator. We provide a comprehensive training plan to get you through the entire thing. And it's a very manageable training plan in the same way that we do our program, our workouts manageable. This training plan is manageable to get you from not walking or running at all to race day. Lots of support, encouragement, and training tips. It's not like I just shared an article about how good walking is for you because I want some of the people in our group to know the 5K does not mean you have to go out and run. It is, again, about deciding I'm going to accomplish something and working your way all the way through it. So our tagline is starting strong is great, finishing strong is epic. So it is, we've got really great race shirts, not your typical race, not your typical race shirt. We will have little goodie boxes that they will open on race day, just so we can kind of feel like we're together that day, even though it's a virtual event and we'll be all over the country. So something we're excited about just to push our people past that comfort zone in just another different way. So very excited about it.
Oh my God, I love that so much. Especially I'm getting really excited about our race on Sunday just because it's been so long since we've been able to have a race. The poor Cap 10K has been canceled first because of weather one year and then 2 years of COVID. This is the first half marathon for a while. And there is that sense of community. I think that's really special that you have almost like the little race pack. My daughter doesn't want to go with me to go pick up the race pack. I'm like,
oh, that's the best part. You get to go to all the booths and everything. That's so fun.
But I love the little packs and getting the t-shirts and getting I think that's so fun that you thought that through all the way. And I'm such a big fan. I got to tell you, I always put so much pressure on running the whole race. And I'm doing this one with my daughter and she had never run before. So I love that you had that, just giving ourselves the grace to be like, you don't have to run the whole thing. If something's hurting, listen to your body. So I just think it's nice to give ourselves grace and do what we can.
And for our group, it's been great because it's not just the grace and it's not just what I want them to know is that walking should not be considered less than running. Walking has major health benefits that running can't touch.
Yep.
And for some of our members where they are in their lives, it's way, way more important that they get out there and walk than any running would be. And so it's not just let's walk until we can run. Some of us, it's let's walk because that's what's best for us. So not less than, just different.
Oh yeah. I do think you're right because I get a lot more mental benefits, I think, from walking than I do when I'm running.
Yeah. And I feel like you see the world differently. You see the world differently when you walk than when you run.
Totally.
When you run, you're focused on not tripping. When you walk, you can enjoy what you see.
Yeah. And you can go, like I can walk with a friend and have a
Yeah.
conversation and get the health benefits. Whereas, I mean, running, I always ran with people as well, but it's not the same kind of conversation, mostly because I was trying not to die. And you don't have a great conversation then. And I letting go of that for me and really understanding that I was getting just as much benefit from heading out on the trail and walking it was
Right.
huge for my mental health, because I was beating myself up that I had run for all these years and just really couldn't anymore for a variety of reasons and wasn't enjoying it anymore, but I felt less than. And so letting that go and embracing walking is good.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm so excited for your 5K. So where do people learn more about that?
On the website, so ashbyfit.com, there's information there. We also have an event page on Facebook that is updated every day with that day's little training plan and encouragement and tips. So just look for, it's called 5K Strong.
5K Strong. All right.
All right.
Do you have pictures of the t-shirts? This is just for me. I just want to see the t-shirt.
Yeah, let me see if I,
Just send us one. We'll put it in the show notes, or we can put it over.
Yeah,
we can
for
overlay
sure.
it over
Yeah,
the
we can
they're
put it in our
screen, too.
group.
they're retro, super fun. Just, yeah, very different than a typical race shirt.
So
I think
cute.
some people might have signed up specifically for that tank. Like
Yeah.
people were so excited about that shirt. There's some people I think they're like, yeah, I'm getting that shirt, man.
I
So,
know.
What I love about that, though, is that it says finishing strong is epic. So I feel like even if you signed up for the shirt, you're not going to feel good about just wearing it unless you actually do the
You got to
race.
finish
I
it.
gotta finish it.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to feel wrong about wearing that shirt if you didn't finish what you started. So
Right.
I'm all
Yes.
for getting them to sign up for the shirt because they're going to do it.
All right. We'll send people there. And then, yeah, I think we're just about ready for our look, listen, learn
Yeah.
segment.
I think we did good on time. I was worried that we were going to go on and
Oh,
on.
well, you know how we are.
Yeah,
We
sometimes
did.
we have trouble stopping ourselves.
Oh, but yes, for anybody who is new to listening to the podcast, welcome. We're so glad you're here. But want to explain that our look, listen, learn segment, we each like to share a little bit about our favorite things that we've been reading or watching or listening to or learning about, to just put a couple things on your list to maybe expand your horizons of your Netflix queue or
Yeah.
some books that you're reading. So we don't want to put y'all on the spot first. You want to kick off, Missy?
Sure. So my look, I have been watching, this is a long one, The Woman in the House Across the Street from the Girl in the Window.
Yes, we watched the first one too.
So I did not really, I knew it had to be a parody based just solely on the title, but I didn't really understand what I was about to watch. So it is a parody of those psychological thrillers, mostly the ones written by women for women. So if you've read like The Woman in the Window by AJ Finn or The Girl on the Train by Paula Watkins, they're doing a parody of it. But have you all watched it? Or just you,
I
Suzanne?
have.
I'm ashamed to say that I've watched it. Yes.
Okay. Okay. It doesn't always feel like a parody.
No, it doesn't.
And so I'm like, I'm probably halfway through with it, and I've decided I'm going to go ahead and finish it because I'm curious what they're going to do with it. So I can't say, like, the verdict is out. I don't know if I'm recommending you watch this, but if you like those books, and I do, I love that kind of book, it's worth checking out. But yeah, I have spent a lot of this series going, yeah, because at moments it feels really serious, and then it'll be
Yes.
completely ridiculous.
I was a little surprised when you just said it was a parody, because I was like, the name seems like a parody, but the episode seemed to take himself pretty seriously.
Seriously, right? I
Okay.
could not. I had to then Google it because I'm like, the title tells me it's a parody, and I'm watching it. And I'm
Oh.
not, so.
Oh my God. Well, you want to know, well, we've been talking about all my painting in past episodes and how I've been listening to so many TV shows, and
Yeah.
to the point where Netflix will be like, are you okay? Like, you haven't hit a button in a while. But when I finally like run through an entire series, it'll go to the next series because there's no more
Yeah.
episodes to play. And it would go into this woman on the house across the street. And
Yeah.
I would just start laughing. It was the paint fumes too, but I was just
Yeah, you were
laughing
high
and
for a
laughing.
few
It's
days.
the funniest title.
It's the funniest title. So I don't know. My verdict is out. I'm not recommending it, but I'm not recommending it. I
I'm
think
with
it's
you.
worth taking a look. So that's what I've been watching this week. And then I've been listening to Mind Your Mental with Dr. Raquel Martin. And she is somebody we're really hoping to have on the podcast. She's about to be on maternity leave. And so when she's finished with her maternity leave, whenever that may be. We're hoping to have her on, but her podcast is great. It's all about mental health. And a lot of the episodes are like 15-20 minutes long. Every once in a while she'll have a guest and they're like 20 or like an hour rather. Just short, digestible for the most part, but I love her voice. I love how she talks about mental health issues. So I highly recommend checking out Mind Your Mental.
Great.
And that's me for this week. That's it.
All right. How about you, Robin? You got any look, listen, learns?
Well, I just over the weekend finished getting my certification for my nutrition. So
Oh,
that is what I was reading. All my free
congratulations.
time was spent reading. But I am
Yeah.
listening to the audiobook Atomic Habits by James
Yes.
Clear. And so when I go for evening walks, it
Wrong one.
is fantastic.
Up there
I need to
somewhere.
borrow that, Missy, because
Yeah.
I will screenshot stuff because I can't highlight it when I'm listening to my audiobook. But like
Yes.
I
just
listened to
this
it
week,
too and then bought it because
Yeah.
I needed it. Yeah.
just this week, I changed my office to segment my space. There's so much. I don't know. I'm on chapter 4 maybe, but there's so much that I've already taken from it that I can't wait to, put my AirPods in and listen. So it's fantastic.
Yeah,
really good.
he did a really great episode on the Brene Brown's podcast.
Mhm.
It's
Okay.
actually on both versions of her podcast. She ran it on both of them. That was so good. I think it's even a two-parter. But yeah, it takes the book to the next level. Or for people
Yeah.
who don't know if they're quite into the book yet, to give it a listen. So good, so good.
Yeah.
We might make the exception if we could ever get him on the podcast for letting
Have a
the dude
dude.
on. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
For him, we'll do it. All right. What about you, Ashley?
Well, I've been spending most of my time building that new platform over the past few months. So I haven't had a ton of time, but for my look, somebody that I follow on Instagram, The Bird's Papaya, is fantastic. Her views about body positivity and what is expected of mothers after having children and the way our body should look is, in my opinion, unmatched. She has changed my views on how I feel about my body. And so I feel like she just really aligns with a lot of stuff. And anybody who can make me change my thinking on things, like I feel like I have to tell the world about them because I'm like, this lady made me like this part of my body that I have never liked in my life, but she is fabulous. And that's The Bird's Papaya. And learning, this isn't super recent, but a couple months ago I did aerial yoga. And
I've
if
always
you-
wanted to.
if you want to talk about the most sore my core has ever been in my life, it was so much fun. I didn't even realize how hard I was working while I was doing it, but something I highly, highly suggest if you're wanting to kind of take a step out of your comfort zone. For me, I'm a weights girl. I love to lift weights. So obviously aerial yoga is pretty far out of my comfort zone, but it was challenging and I laughed a lot. So highly recommend.
Can't beat that.
Fun.
Yeah.
Now, did you get dizzy at all?
Yeah, a few times when I got
Okay.
kind of started doing some of the flips and stuff like
Yeah.
that and hanging upside down. Like, yeah, there are a few times I got a little disoriented, but
Oh, I would love to do
So-
it so much, but I have like vestibular issues. Remember when I couldn't do Pilates for a while because I
Yeah,
couldn't
yeah.
move my head the direction I needed to. So yeah, that might be out of my range, but oh man, I want to do that so bad. So now are there certain gyms that specifically do the aerial yoga and that type of thing?
Well, I actually went it was a bachelorette party.
Oh, how
And
fun.
so we had a big group go up and we did it. It was a private type thing, which is even better because when you're hanging upside down and
Oh my
spinning
gosh.
around and stuff, like
Was there wine
had to-
involved?
maybe a little.
I'd have to do that
focus.
after I was spinning around upside down.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But it was a ton of fun, very challenging. So I've been telling everybody, I'm like, hey, you need to try some aerial yoga. So
Okay. I think that might
Fun.
be worth shaking up my ear rocks a little bit. That sounds so much
Your
fun.
ear
Like our crystals, I don't know what it is. There's something in
I
there
don't
that
know
causes me
either.
trouble. Oh, I love that one. Okay.
Well, what about you?
Okay. What am I am literally looking at this book, The Parental Leave playbook, which I'm so excited. Both Amy Beacom and Sue Campbell are going to be on the show in a few weeks. And I told Missy, I was like, well, that book I've been talking about writing for like the past 5 years, they wrote it. They wrote it. No. But no, theirs is like the version of someone who's being strategic from the outset. Like, okay, you are having a baby. Here's
Now
the
what?
stuff that you should be doing. And also, I mean, it makes sense for somebody who's along the lines like a stay-at-home mom or on a pause and wants to get some strategic thinking around that. But oh my gosh, I can read a couple of the quotes off of the back. One of them is by our friend KJ Del Antonia. The parental leave playbook is a must read for any expectant parent trying to navigate the transition into working parenthood with less stress and more joy. So it really is
Wish
balance.
I'd had that.
I know. It's the idea that you don't have to give up your career. So it's not necessarily what do you do when you are a stay-at-home mom. It's what do you do so you don't necessarily have to become a stay-at-home mom, or so that you can, do some type of part work, or, all kinds of different options. So
Yeah.
I'm not quite finished, but I mean, I can already say obviously amazing and speaks deep to my heart and everything that I love and am interested in. So I'm so excited to have them on in a couple weeks. And then what am I listening to? I am listening to, on last weekend's 10-mile run, I listen to books. My daughter's like, how can you even move like listening to books? She has to like listen to really
Have
upbeat music.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah, me too.
But I listen to books. So that's why I read.
I'd run at the weirdest pace if I was listening to books, because I bet at times I'd be like, just stopped.
It can be bad. I remember this was years ago, but I was reading this book called, I think it was called The Girl with All the Gifts. And it was kind of a zombie post-apocalyptic thing or whatever. And I was running and it was kind of foggy and it was in the morning. It was still kind of dark. And I got to a part where like the zombies were chasing her, and you could see on my workout tracker later, I went pretty fast when the zombies were chasing me. So maybe I should do that more often. But
Awesome.
this book, there's no zombies. It's called One by One by Ruth Ware, who I have never read her before. I don't do a whole lot of thriller mystery, but she's the one who wrote The Woman in Cabin 10, I think is the one that people know the most. But it is about a corporate staff retreat at a ski chalet. This I have just discussed with Missy already. There's another book that I have also been reading called Sanatorium. Same thing, a group of people stuck in a chalet and there's an avalanche coming and people just start dying. So this is my new trope. This is my new genre, apparently. I'm really enjoying
rich
it.
people in the mountains.
Yes, exactly. But this one, the One by One, my main complaint about Sanatorium is that, I mean, all this stuff was going on, avalanches, weather, blizzards, whatever. And like, their internet service was like 5 bars, no problem. Like they were just like, no problem. And my suspension of disbelief just could not handle it. And so I'm probably a third of the way in this book and the internet's already down. Phones are dead.
Oh, good.
And the power just went out. So I'm like, yes, that's what happens when you are in an avalanche in the Alps and people are dying. You do not have internet. So
yeah.
So,
or if it gets too cold or too hot in Texas, you don't have.
Or it's just, or if it gets
or
a little
water.
windy.
Yeah.
Or if, I know, why did we have a boil water notice last week? Just because I don't even know why.
Because some guy did not, or gal, I don't know who it was. Somebody did something wrong, they said.
Somebody didn't stir the water, right? But yes. Yeah, that should be our next thriller. It's not going to be in chalets. It's going to be in water treatment plants in Austin. Be like, oh no. Did anybody turn the stir today?
Oh no, the water is turbid. A word I never used until the last couple of years.
But yeah, so this is fun. So if anybody needs a little, I don't know, it's not a fantasy to be able to go to this chalet and then get murdered, but it's kind of fun just thinking about being one of the rich, finer people who get to go to these amazing resorts and stuff until you get murdered.
But then you don't feel bad for not getting to go because apparently you die.
I know. They're so dangerous. I mean, avalanches all the time. Yeah. Great internet service if you go to the Sanatorium one. Go to that one instead of the one in One by One. But yes, nobody has started dying yet. So I'm very excited for that to happen. all the good stuff's just, the internet just went down, power's out. They're trying to figure out. I love how they're trying to figure out how to keep the food cold. Cause I'm like, there's an avalanche right there. Just go put
it outside.
You're outside.
No. The chef
But
is
we
the
do in
one who's
Missouri.
worried. I know. It's like, even we figured that out in our Austin Snowmageddon last year.
Yeah.
You can really chill some Chardonnay in a snowdrift. So yes. Well, I'm so excited to learn about all this and all the great, I just love this different way of thinking about fitness. It's so different than I think we grew up. Our Gen X vision of fitness, there was kind of one way to do it. And that seemed to change like every year. I was like, change your mind. Oh, no, it's not carbs anymore. It's this. No, it's not cutting out this. It's this. And I love the fact that you're not asking people to take away anything.
Just add more good stuff.
Yes.
We don't take away, we add more good. And then in turn, that good is going to fill in the space where maybe things that weren't benefiting you, it's just going to take that space. And then at no point were you ever restricting yourself or taking things away from yourself. You were just adding good things to your life.
Yeah.
Although I do need someone to come take away the rest of these cupcakes because
I volunteer.
I know.
All right.
Oh, but no, it's part of the joy of life as well. But I think the first 2 or 3 were the part of joy of life. And then it was just like, my teeth hurt.
I don't feel so good.
I feel funny, Missy.
Well, I gotta go because I have to go do my workout.
Oh,
this is my
gosh.
window today to squeeze in my 27 minutes. So
oh my goodness.
I gotta go get it
You-
done.
You better go get your 27 minutes. I love that.
Yeah. Thank y'all so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, yes.
So much fun.
All right, y'all.
All right, go do your
I gotta
workout, girl.
roll. Y'all have a good afternoon.
All
All right.
Right.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so much for
Ladies.
being here.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for joining us for the Mom and ... podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's show, and if you know someone else who could benefit from the episode, please be sure and share it with them. And while we're begging, please subscribe and rate us wherever it is you listen to podcasts. You can find links to all the things we discussed today in our show notes or over at our website, momandpodcast.com, with the A-N-D spelled out. In between shows, find us over at the socials, including our private Mom and Community Facebook group. The links to that group and all of our socials can be found at momandpodcast.com. Thank you so much for your support. We appreciate you more than you know. Now go out there and make your ellipses count.